Do you get to spend a lot of your time doing things that have meaning to you, or do you find yourself playing catch up, trying to create the time and space to do the things that have meaning to you? It is Values and Ideals Week at Our Raw Material. I am Tavish Cardiff, here to talk a little bit about what values and ideals means from this perspective. First of all, let's talk about the difference. Values are the things that are important to us. And when we start to think about what all is really important to us, there are so many things, and we can't really attend to all of them. Enter ideals. At the point that we start thinking about ideal situations for the things we can't attend to, at least we're able to give them some energy. And when we give them positive energy, we're giving some support. It may not seem substantial, but from an energetic standpoint, it actually really is. And the more we play around in the ideal playground, the more we see how true that is, and how much that space exists for our creativity and imagination and all of the things that we've kind of been taught to shut down all of our lives. Ideals are the best that we can imagine for a situation. And we often find ourselves confusing what a value is with what an ideal is. Let's be real about what's important to us, but also let's know that we can't be perfect, and we can't expect people around us to be perfect. We can't expect them to know exactly what we need or want, and we can't expect ourselves to meet all of that criteria either. That being said, when we have worry, fear, confusion, the things that keep us stuck in patterns that don't serve us, we can take those energies to the ideal playground and we can imagine the very best thing we can for them. So let's say, just something easy, you need to do the weeding in your garden and you haven't gotten to it. Keep imagining it weeded. Keep imagining what it looks like when it's weeded. Keep imagining what it feels like when things are out of the way. And then when you finally get to it, you'll feel so good finally doing it, rather than beating yourself up that you haven't done it. In the meantime, you've imagined what it's like when it's actually done. So the energy that you've put towards it wholly is to actually have the task get done, which makes you much more likely to align with the intention of getting it done. So paying attention to the things that come before us that we would like to have be a certain way, yet can't always achieve that way, or it just won't stay that way permanently. The stack of work that we have to do at home is never done. We never sit back and say everything's complete. There's always something more. So we take our moments to breathe and enjoy what we're doing, knowing that there's always more on the plate, knowing that there's always so much more to do, and we can't possibly attend to it all. What we wind up doing is creating expectations for the things that we value. And when we don't know exactly what we value, we start expecting from a list of values that's probably a lot bigger than one we can manage. That breeds these expectations that go way beyond what should be. Should isn't fair. This goes into anticipating things for other people that it's not really fair to do. So let's talk about the values list. In week 1, we make a mentors list. In week 7, we recommend that you make a values list. And that list can change day to day, month to month, year to year. It's a fluid list. And when we learn to see it and organize our priorities around it, it makes it a lot easier to get the tasks done that we want to do, need to do, and give ourselves the time to do the things that we like doing, that we enjoy doing, because it reminds us to spend our time doing them. Now, we all have to make money, we all have to work, so at some point that is on the values list, but working too much, unless you really enjoy that and that's your plan, you're making a bunch of extra money to work a lot or something, that might be a reason to do it, but check it against all your other values. Does it really deserve the priority it's being given? If it does, great, keep doing it. But otherwise, there's there's room up there at the top for a lot of compromises. And the more you work with that list, the more you get comfortable compromising on the fly without having to feel guilty for the choice that you've made. You made a value-based choice, and maybe there's 5 things in front of you that you truly value. You're going to have to pick the one that fits you in that moment, in that day. And only you can know what that criteria is. To try to explain it to someone else at that point will have you justifying something that you might not be able to justify. But what you can do is know that you made a value-based choice and it's rooted in something that means something to you, so that you can move forward doing the thing that you've chosen to do based on your values. And in an ideal situation, you could get them all done. But from a value-based perspective, there's only so much we can do. So every day, check your values. For me personally, I have dropped my own value system in favor of family in town and a bunch of chaos weather-wise and just things going on that I had no control over. In the last week, listening week, I have let myself just go with the flow. And my own value system hasn't come into play much, which has led me really far from things that are important to me. And as I regroup after letting that be the value for the week, pulling back into my own value system, I realize how important it is to me. And I'm grateful that I let it go for a week, but also it feels really comfortable and nice putting my own value system back on and operating in my routine, in my space. Not that there's much routine to it, but meeting deadlines and getting things done just under the wire, the way that I like them. So as we work with our values, we become more joyous in our day because we're spending time doing things that we want. And whatever that cycling thought that keeps us from breathing, take those fears, take those worries to the ideal playground, imagine the best for them, and all of a sudden you've got space to breathe, you've got space to handle what's in front of you. It doesn't feel so overwhelming, and it makes it a lot easier to, again, make choices based on your values so that you can enjoy your day. Practice guidance for this week. At the end of your days, check in instead of checking out. Go inside and start paying attention to what actually is important to you and what you would like to spend time doing. Make a list of those things and organize the list. See what really is the most important thing to you. I know the first time I made that list, I surprised the crap out of myself because there were certain things I didn't realize how valuable they were to me. And when I looked at how I was actually spending my time and wrote down, the things that I was really doing to spend my time as the way I was organizing my values back then, I was doing all kinds of things I didn't value. So it's fascinating to go in and really look at how much time you spend doing things that serve you and how much time you spend doing things that don't. When you're aware of that, it makes it a lot easier and more fun to make choices that feel good. Happy playgrounding this week. I hope you have an ideal and fantastic Values and Ideals week, and I will be back next week as we talk about conflict. Once we know what's important to us, it's time to start picking and choosing our battles. Have a great week. Thank you.